Hey,
Hey.
what's going on? I'm about to say all three of y'all could be able to fit right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, can we? I guess I want y'all to be able to see me, but
Okay.
so there's only two of us right now. Our third, he's sleeping at the current moment. He works overnight, so he's gonna come join us in a moment.
Okay.
We are getting for
All
work.
my questions are for three. So, is there a way will he be able to like join maybe from the other room or something like that, so I can add him in? That way we can put all three of y'all in.
He's gonna jump on. Oh, cool, Mr. Donald.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
So he will eventually be a part of this session. We just trying to make sure he gets away so he can work.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump on and go ahead and get started because I know some people have some questions, and then a few more people get on. So tonight, y'all, is 101. The relationship topic is we're talking to people who are gay and poly, and we're talking to Martel and the Rowdy Ruff boys, his two boyfriends, Q and Ty. So I've known Martel for a few years now, more than a few years. I think we met way.
We've known each other since 2014, I think.
2014. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been I've known you, and we've always got along pretty well. Never had any issues or anything like that. So for everybody who'd like to say Mikey wanted for you to get mad with everybody, no, Mikey does it. You got to give me a reason to be mad with you about something. So I just want to put that out there. But anyway, Martel is someone I've known for quite some time. I never knew that he never gave me any inclination that he'd be interested in like a relationship, being a third to a relationship. I came online one day and somebody was like, "Yeah, Martel has two boyfriends," and I was just like,
"What?
Wait a minute, two boyfriends? What do you mean? What? I don't understand." And they was like, "Well, he's polyamorous. He's living a poly life," and I was just like, "Oh, wow!" And then when you think that so many different things come to mind, you're kind of like, okay, they're going to do a lot of this. They're going to do a lot of that. Or that's got to be hard because, one person is hard enough. So how you deal with like,
no.
Is that right? One person is hard enough. How do you deal with two? And I'm kind of like, that's a good question because it's not for everybody. And I feel like everybody does what's best for their relationship or what's best for them. So Martel and Q, correct?
This is Q.
Yes, it's Q. All right. So Q, if you can move over just a little bit because I want to make sure your face is inside of it too. I want you two to walk me through the process of how y'all became a three because my understanding, Q, is you were already married to Ty.
Correct.
You were in a relationship, the two of you, and then you decided that you wanted a boyfriend based on an article that I read. And you and Martel had spoken before, I want to say.
Okay. So, me and Ty, we've been married it'll be 8 years this year. That we've been married. So back in 2019, December, we moved back to Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta, but Ty's not, so he moved here with me.
Peace out. Now down.
And so, we moved here in December 2019, and in April or March, at the end of March, is when me and Martel started talking on Jack.
Okay. Oh, Jack.
Come on, you can find the love of your life on Jack. It ain't all about your sex.
Okay.
And then, so me and him exchanged numbers. And then when I went to save his number in my phone, I realized that his number was already saved in my phone. So, yeah. So Ty had already had his number, and they had already been communicating. I found out then. Once I found out that we were all already communicating, we just decided to meet, and then it went from there.
Okay, so wait a minute. No, you can't just say it went from there. First of all, guys, before we go any further, thank you, Planner, for buying a badge. Guys, if you support what I'm trying to do, the content, all of us are influencers, the money that you spend on a badge, 99 cents, $1.99, or even $5 goes directly to our pockets, not to Instagram. So support content that you want to watch and see on Instagram Live. All right? So before we go any further, you said, it just kind of went from there. That's vague as hell. I'm sorry.
It just kind of went from there.
But wait, did you and your husband, did you and Ty go back and have a conversation and say, hey, yeah, we both like him? Or,
so
some dates?
Prior to
dive into
us meeting him, we had already spoken about being in a polyamorous relationship. It's something that we had been.
Love to watch me.
It's something that we had been actually working on at the time for.
Well, let me pause and ask you this real quick. When did you decide? Okay, well, we're gonna work on having a polyamorous relationship, because that's not something everybody can just wake up with their spouse and say, "Hey, we're gonna do this." What started that? Because that's the bubble that led to all of this.
Okay, so
back they probably can see all of us. Look at that.
So probably 2 years into our relationship, we had a conversation.
Okay.
About being in an open relationship and about potentially having a third person. So 2 years in is when we initially had that conversation. And so it took us about 5 years after that initial conversation until we met him. But between that, we had talked to like probably 3 people.
Okay.
It just didn't work out.
It just didn't work out. So was it a period of time where y'all just like dated them for a little while, or like one night stands? Like what was it?
Okay, no. So for the people that we were actually, I guess you could say, courting or trying to talk to, we didn't have sex with them at all at the time. Yeah. We just.
Oh, Martel, wait a minute. What was that look, Martel?
Because I didn't know. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like,
okay. Well, go ahead.
I mean, I don't care about your relationship.
He said, "Oh, this is the news."
Go ahead. Talk to me.
But yeah, so it just didn't work out for one reason or another. And so after we met him,
he was perfect.
That first night we probably chilled at his house, probably like 5 or 6 hours, like just playing the game, talking.
Okay.
And so after we left, we had a conversation.
All right.
Like, he cool, this could, maybe be something. And then it just kind of went from there. So we just continued to pretty much just hang out and get to know each other from there.
Okay, so people go through the process. They meet the person, they like the person, they start the date. So y'all went on a few dates. What did you do for dates? Like, what are some things that y'all do when y'all go on dates then and now?
Well, so let's. So when we started dating, it was at the peak of Corona, like all of the pandemic mess. So I started working from home on March 17th of last year. We met officially in person on April 4th. Oh, excuse me, give me the guy. He right, April 5th. You've been ready for that too. But so I met the both of them on April 5th. And at that point, I think we weren't really we couldn't really go places because I know me, I'm super I don't play that whole COVID stuff. I don't know if I can keep saying that before they shut us down, so I can't say no more. But I was very oh no, we can stay inside. We spent lots of time getting to know each other. So a lot that we would do typically on a date, you go out, you spend a couple hours here, you go home. Versus in this case, we were already home. So it was okay, y'all just come over, and we really spent literally just hours and days just getting to know each other. So instead of just, okay, I'm gonna take you out for 2 hours, I'm gonna go home, it would be, okay, every day I'm gonna spend 4 and 5 hours with you so we can just sit and talk and really get to know each other and build. And I think that was really, sorry.
That's pretty deep. Come over to the house every single day, for 2 or 3 hours and just talk and stuff like that. That's not really something that you hear people are doing too much, especially let alone something like this, because the context of what you think of when you think of a polyamorous relationship is you're not enough for me, I'm not enough for you, I want more, I'm gonna do what I want to do, you can join in on this too, and we're gonna make this work or we don't make it work. And to hear that y'all went through a process which defies the stereotype. So this is really dope. So I'm really interested in this. So keep going. Y'all talk for 2-3 days, went on some dates.
Dates from home.
Dates from home because COVID. Yes, we were being safe, as you like to say. And I'm with it. I'm completely with it. I can't say that I did that. I was hanging out. What's going on? You coming over here? I'm coming over there. Okay, that's how I was getting my situation in. But it worked for you guys. You went on some dates from the house. You were with both of them. Martel, did you find yourself gravitating towards one of them more than the other initially?
No, I think that was something we discussed very, very early on. Once we decided, we were really going to get to know each other, we actually made a very conscientious effort to build relationships. I'm sorry?
No, I was saying Control Magazine, thank you for buying a badge.
Oh, okay, come on. I see you. Come on, Control Bear, buy a badge. Buy a badge for me too.
People support me.
But yeah, I think we got to the point where I was just like, I want to build relationships with both of them, because I don't ever want to feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm spending more time with this one, and like me and him are really connected, and me and someone else are being left behind, anything of that sort. So there would be days where Ty would just come over and we would spend time together. There would be days where Q would come over and we'd spend time together. There was times where, of course, we were doing things together, all three of us. But we definitely did really work hard to build individual relationships, because they already have 8 years together. So they're already set. So I just need to make sure, because as a whole, we may work, but individually we may not. So I definitely wanted to make sure I could have a relationship with Ty and I could have a relationship with Q before we could have a relationship together. I think we were all very much on the same plane as that.
Q, is that something that you had dealt with before, where you found out when you dated previous people that you found out one would gravitate towards you or one would gravitate towards Ty, and not really two as a unit, and that was a problem?
Yeah, and it even one situation was even like, I know who I want to be with, but I'm a fake like I want to be with both of y'all just so I can get in and do what I need to do.
See, yeah, and that's what I was thinking. So what that does, it can stir jealousy in the two of you. You know what I mean? And y'all trying to it establishes a situation, because I feel like whether you're gonna do anything that involves more than two people that can possibly contain elements of romance and sex, it has to be a level playing field where everybody is into everybody, or it's gonna throw off the dynamic all the way through. Let's be very clear about it. Some of us have had threesomes, and we know this. If one person is feeling you more than the other one, it shows. If one person is not feeling you, it shows, and it throws it off. And two people have a good time, one person is left out, or somebody can be egotistical and say, ain't none of us having a good time, and everybody can get the hell out. You know, it's just a reality situation. Right. So let's flash forward till we get to dating. Let's get to the moment where we say, okay, we're ready to consummate this relationship. How was that? How did that go?
So we started seeing each other April 5th of 2020. October 10th of 2020 was when we actually decided we're going to be a full committed relationship. So 6 months later, we now decided. I'm sorry?
You decided to be in a relationship before you decided to consummate the relationship, before you decided to consummate anything.
Yeah, So we're October, 6 months later, we still haven't had sex yet. So at this point, let's in the church. So we're spending time. We're having activities, but we're not fully. There's no penetration. There's no full sex. Just a little mouth here and there.
Gotcha.
But it's still very PG-13. Because again, this is serious. Like, I feel like, because there's so many people involved, I don't want to. And people who know me, people who listen to my music, I can do what I need to do. I can hold around. But I know in this case, I'm like, this is kind of, it's too many people involved to be trying to play around and do a lot of things. So like, you're not about to waste my time, and I need to know, like, do you deserve what I have to offer? So after about 6 months or so, we decided that we were going to commit ourselves to a full relationship. So now it's become Martel and Q and Ty. We're all now with Rowdy Ruff Boyz together, all three of us. And we didn't actually have sex until. To be clear, I think we all had some individual things. So me and Ty actually began having sex on our own individually. And that's really just based on where our schedules work out. We all just have really kind of just different schedules. So me and Ty were spending a lot of like physical time together. And it was just like one of those days, like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And we got it popping. And so then.
And Q, you get what type of way about that?
No, I did.
I mean, again, I feel like we communicate really well. Like, it wasn't. Because I know initially at the time too, I remember what was happening. I was like, this sounds. I'm like, can we do this? And it's like, well, we're here now, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. And again, we communicated about it. I know they talk all the time. And at the time, they were still living together separate from me. So, I mean, I don't know what conversations they were having by themselves, but I'm sure they probably come up like, oh, I'm about to let Martel get some, or I'm about to go ahead and do my thing, and or however that went. But I know, we all did talk about it, and we were all okay. We were all okay. I was like to just double check.
Well, let me tell you, but that's what I like. I like this communication across the board because I know with some couples, we only play together. Some have rules where you can play here, you can play there. We got an open situation, but you kept it respectful all the way through it. I think that's what I'm loving. I'm loving the level of respect that I'm seeing in the trichotomy of let's not make a move until we both agree on it. And Martel realizing on his end, I'm walking into a situation. So I need to try to make sure I'm making this as minimal as possible. Because people don't think that. Everybody a lot of times is usually out for self. Even if they're in a relationship, well, what's going to please me instead of what's going to please all of us. So this is good to know. This is good to hear. It's good to know that you can be amenable in a situation like this. Because every you hear the horror stories. And it really puts a bad label on anything besides monogamy when you hear stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. And I know oftentimes we don't get lots of negative feedback, but when we do, it's typically from people who don't understand. People always just assume it's about sex. And so really have to just go deep and explain. I know for me, communication is probably the most important thing because without communication, we can't go anywhere. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of having to second guess things or to I don't like, oh, I feel like you feel some type of way, but I don't know. So I'm really like, let's address everything. Like, I rather over talk than not talk enough.
I'm 1,000% with you on that. I'm the same way. But that leads to another question then. How do y'all deal with arguments and stuff like that or disagreements?
They vary. I know initially a lot of the arguments were it was me and them. Again, they've been together for at the time 7 years, going on 8 years now. So they've had their arguments. They've already gone through the growing pains of getting to know each other. While me, I'm experiencing that in real time so you are all, they're all situated and they're all happy in love. And it's like, okay, well, I need y'all to understand, where I come from and I need you to understand. I need to understand where you all come from. And so there were just lots of, how you guys do this is different than how I do this and trying to find that middle ground. So there were lots of, initially the arguments were a lot of them and me. But again, that's just the growing thing. Now that we're all a unit, all of our arguments could be one day he might piss me off and it's like, okay, Daddy, let me go ahead and let you know real quick about yourself. Or I may do some shit and he's like, all right, Boo Daddy, now you was blah by the skip and me and Ty like, okay, baby, you said this and I don't like that. So I think now we're at a place where we can have individual arguments and it's like, okay, yeah, me and Babe went through this and we can all talk about it and be cool. But yeah, the initial arguments was them and me. Now we argue with each other.
Okay, so who would you say you find to be more of the mediator, when it comes to those situations? Do one of you step up more than the other one?
You said to be what?
Like the mediator, somebody who will bring it to the floor. Okay, y'all, this is a problem. This is an issue. Both of y'all need to address. Who plays that role most?
Me. I think it's me.
Oh, for real?
It's me.
Q, wait a minute, Q. Who do you think it is, Q?
I mean,
who do you think plays the mediator most times?
I guess if it gets to the point where something needs to be addressed, then maybe he will bring it to the floor. But I mean, in general, I'm the peaceful one, so I rarely have any issues,
Okay.
Because I'm chill. I just, not a lot bothers me, and so I just be,
He said, not a lot bothers me. I mean, okay, so I'm gonna be very open and vulnerable with my own situation and whatnot, because a lot of people don't know this about me, but I've actually dated a few couples myself. I've been over to that process about three times now.
Come on.
And it actually got pretty serious, but each time they ended up moving away, and because I was on daddy mode or whatnot, I got to be here for the kid. I couldn't go. I wasn't leaving. I couldn't leave my little man behind. And so for me, I always had this policy of I could go into a situation, it could be an already established relationship, and it would work out great. They never had an issue with me or anything like that, but I could never, ever be in a relationship with somebody monogamous, and they try to come into my situation because I don't want it. And I had to realize for myself, the reason I did that is because I can trust me, and I know I'm not going to try to mess up nobody else's situation. So I can go into that situation hey, this is what it is. What are y'all rules? Let me abide by them. Let me see what's going on. Let me try to match their energy and vibe. But on the flip side, like you said, Q, somebody else can come into the situation and it's kind of like, oh, they want one of us, and they're trying to divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely get that. And so I'm kind of like on the fence when it comes to like polyamorous, monogamous relationships. So I guess it just depends on the couple or depends on the person. But like, yeah, if I was in a traditional relationship, I can bring a third in, but I can go into a relationship that's already into a third. And I'm currently kind of talking with a little couple now. So
he about to get home. He about to have their own little Rowdy Ruff boys.
My situation is different. It's a man and a woman. So
man,
it's a little different.
But it's still good.
That's something I'm a little interested in. So that's part of the reason I want to talk with you guys, because not just only for myself and research purposes, but because this is a situation that does really work for some people. It really does. And I tell people all the time, we need to expand our minds. Instead of fearing what we don't understand, we need to try to say, okay, well, I know a lot about this, and I still know it's not for me, as opposed to saying, oh, that's weird. That's not the norm. Because to be honest with you, the norm isn't even the norm. The norm is average.
At this point, the norm is being single. That's what the norm is for people at this point. Like most people, even like when you see like some of the most successful relationships, they're ending and people are going back to being single. That's the norm. So for me, like I said, most of the negative feedback is typically somebody like, oh, I can't do that. I would never have another. And typically it's people who are already single. So we know you couldn't do it because you can't get the one. Right. And so oftentimes I try to just tell people, just be open-minded to whatever situation comes, because you never really know how it's going to work out. I know when they first came over, it was really like, I knew we're going to smash today, or we're going to really take our time to get to know each other and be something. And it being the latter, thank God. Right. Because I've never been happier. I think together we are the perfect like trifecta of handsome black men. Like, I love the three of us. Like, we all have so many different aspects that make us great. And I really just want people to see us and just see like, okay, there's so much more than just, because I think too, people limit to like, oh, I have to be with somebody. I have to be with someone like this. People set this expectation of what they want and they only go for that. And it's not necessarily say to settle or to anything, but just open your mind to what could possibly happen or what you could find. There's so many amazing people out here just looking for love, but they're looking for one thing. And I found love comes in so many different like aspects and different avenues that I hate that if I was just like, well, they're whatever, or, I only like one of them niggas, I ain't gonna give them a chance. Like, I think there's so many things that could have held any of us back from being together. And I'm super glad it didn't, because I love you guys.
Yeah, no. I love you guys. All right, so let me see. We got some questions. Let's see. Where is the third guy? Do we have an update on Ty?
Oh, I know. Okay, so to be clear, y'all, too, we had a really, really busy day today. Some stuff went down at Q's mom's house. So Ty was there dealing with that. So he works overnight. So he didn't really get to sleep a lot during the day. So it really messed up him getting prepared to do this. So he is going to show up, y'all. There's a third boyfriend. He does exist. If you look at the Instagram page, you'll see all three of us. He'll be here. He'll be here momentarily. I appreciate y'all for wanting to see my man so bad. He is coming.
All right. So I got a question.
Our man so bad.
I got a question from Deanna Fisher, realtor. What happens if one person falls? Yeah, Deanna Fisher, the realtor. He says, what happens if one person falls out of love with one or wants to end it with a third and the other doesn't?
That's a great question.
That is a great
question. Really good question.
So I know as a I can only speak for myself in this sense. I know me coming into their relationship, they're already married. So I don't see it as likely that they would want to separate from each other before they would want to separate from me. But I also know if something were happening, they were like, you know what? I don't really want to be married to Q anymore. I don't want to be married to Ty anymore. I know I would remove myself from this situation because I know I walked in with us as a three. And while I know I love both of them individually, I think to me, that would seem very like for them to separate, I would have to choose ultimately. And I'm not gonna be the one to make a choice between the two of them. So if they decide they wanted to just separate from each other, then we would all just break up. But if either of them decide like, oh, I don't want to be with Martel, I'm just going. I don't see that likely happening, because shit. But if that possibility were, now Q can answer more so in his perspective, and Ty.
Yeah,
but
see, what's gonna be your perspective?
I mean, honestly, I guess I would have to agree. Like, especially like if me and Ty were to decide that we don't want to be married anymore, then of course, like, the relationship would end. I mean, like all together, I guess. But if me or Ty decided that we didn't want to be in a relationship with Martel anymore, then I mean, I guess ultimately, we would have to figure out.
They would leave me and go be married by themselves.
We would have to figure out what the issue is, for one.
Yeah.
I mean, because for me, like, I just feel like it's not too many scenarios, for me personally, that will cause me to want to break up in general. I mean, especially with, it's different for me and Ty because we're married. So, I mean, we can't just break up. So, I mean, that's a whole process. So, as far as Martel goes, though, like, I don't see many scenarios in which, I would want to break up with him.
Okay. Tucker and Nakia asked, would you guys add another person to the relationship?
You know what? That was actually something that came up recently. And also to explain, I don't personally want another person. It's too many people to figure out. It's too much. But when Q presented it to me, he explained it. He was basically, I mentioned one time about how I always imagined what my wedding would be like. And I planned out my wedding so long ago. And I know at the current moment, we can't have a polyamorous marriage.
Not in the United States of America.
Yeah, so he was like, how would you feel about possibly getting a fourth person so you could get married? And I'm like, I don't want to be married that bad. But I think that meant something to me that he had even considered that. Like, I know you said you wanted to get married, so I would be okay with even finding another nigga or just another person to bring in so you could just have that wish of getting married. And I think that was super amazing. I can't imagine wanting to be with someone else. It's a lot to deal with. Again, as much as I love both of them, just being in a relationship with two people is a lot.
It is.
And I believe that we have the ability to do so, but it is a lot. So then to bring a fourth person in, now that's three different people that I have to be able to emotionally, maintain, mentally maintain. There's so many aspects that we have to play into each other. And let me tell you though, 4 people paying rent, 4 people paying bills, 4 people running down. Let me say that would be it.
Listen,
but at the same time, it's 3 people already. We got 3 niggas paying rent. We got 3 folks so. I think we're good. If somebody want to contribute to the household, though, let's talk about it. We can see what's going to come up with this, what your money talk about.
If anybody wants to be, a sugar daddy for 3 niggas, we or mama, mama, okay. We don't discriminate,
If the corn right, we can make it work for you.
Let me see. We got some more questions right here. I play music as 2 questions. We already went over. We said, how long did you guys court date before deciding to become a throuple? Can you talk about the way you all communicate? They talked about that earlier. The video is actually going to be posted after we finish our live tonight, so you can actually go back and look over there. But it was a process that they went through. It wasn't a overnight thing. It was a drawn out process.
And honestly, there were times it was difficult. There was times I was like, these niggas can go home and don't have to come back. I feel like that initial dating process, it was definitely. And I can admit, I don't typically deal with jealousy and things of that sort. But I do also understand there's times where I'm like, they would be like, oh, okay, they're doing things or they're saying things because they've been in a relationship for 8 years. So it's like, oh, I love you, babe. And it's like, all right, well, have a good day, Martel. And it's like, oh, then y'all niggas don't love me? But then we're going to know each other for 2 weeks. So it's things like that where it's those parts where you have to just learn, like, you're coming into an already made relationship. So they can be in love. And that time will come. And I don't necessarily want to call that necessarily jealousy, I guess. But it's just, I know, but we also know, if anyone knows me, we know I love me some Martel. So I think there's times where it's like, dang, like, they love each other so much and don't know I love me yet.
Okay.
But
Tucker and
really, like, it's a process.
It's definitely a process. Tucking the kid asks, do you want kids or have kids?
We don't. We have lots of animals right now. We have 2 cats and a dog. And this dog, let me tell you, more than enough right now. We have nieces and nephews. His sister has 2 nieces and nephews that we take care of a lot. I have nieces and nephews in Ohio. So yeah, there's tons of kids. We do want kids. We haven't really gotten down to the logistics of like, how many.
That's what I was about to say. What does
it's no time
look like? Because I know for me being a former adoption social worker, we can do domestic partnerships. We can do, of course, same-sex married couples. But how to approach a polyamorous relationship in relation to adoption is not something that's on the book.
Mm-hmm.
And
let me be clear, I don't adopt no kids either, though. Nothing's in his wrong with adoption. I encourage everyone to adopt kids. Get them kids off the street. But I personally don't want to adopt any kids. I want my kids.
You want to have your own biological children.
Yeah, I need to pass my. I'm also the last son from my. Well, I'm not technically. I'm the last son with my father's name, so I have to pass my name on. That's really important to me. I have to have a legacy. So there'll definitely be a little. We actually have a daughter. We're gonna name her after Ty. Her name will be Tajay. Oh, it's gonna be Taisha. We're still figuring out names, but there's definitely going to be a little Martel and a little unnamed.
Like 3 kids, it's already like 3 in the situation. It's like y'all gonna need a bigger house. Like the guy said earlier, definitely. So here's the question: how do your families deal with this? Because it's one thing for you to come out as being gay. It's another thing for you to marry somebody of the same sex. It's a whole other thing, y'all, as a married same-sex couple, they say we're gonna get a boyfriend and he's around us too, and y'all are our family, y'all gonna be around too. That's layered. Like,
love it. So my mom, for example, my aunt actually told her that I was in a polyamorous relationship because she saw it on my Facebook, I think it was, on Twitter, one of those. And so she shared the information with my mom. And so, but me and my mom, like, we never even really officially talked about it. But she's met Martel, like, we were just over there actually Sunday. We all went over there for Sunday dinner. So yeah, like she knows about our relationship and all of that. And the rest of like my siblings, they all know, like they all love him. Like, yeah, like everybody cool. Like, with it.
So pretty much they like what you like. They like who you like. Is that what it is? Has that been the nature of your relationship, family, others?
That's important. So now I know my family's a bit different. Not like no one's like really against it, but I know. So my dad's in jail currently.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, he good. But he in jail. But I've been like telling I've told him about the boys, and he's super excited. Like he's like, when I get out, I can't wait to meet them. Like I already made plans and accommodations for my dad to come stay with me when he gets out. So it was kind of one of like the things like, hey, as we're building, like I want y'all to know my dad's going to be, when he gets out of jail, like he's going to come stay with me. So that's going to be a part of my life. And so they've been very open and welcome to that, knowing that when my dad gets out, he is coming to stay with us now. And he's had to, hey, when you get out, you're not coming to stay with me anymore. You're coming to stay with us. And so I want him to understand that he's been super excited. Every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, tell the boy I said what's up. Tell him like he's super geeked about it. And then, but my aunt's pretty much, she's the very prominent person in my life. And she's not against it. She just always has lots of questions. Just like, this is, why you need 2 boyfriends? Why can't you just have one? Why you gotta have 2? Like she literally asked me today, like, have you considered just getting 1 boyfriend? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, just, leaving that relationship and getting 1 boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, well, no, that wouldn't, if we broke up, I'm going to get 1 boyfriend and we're going to get another boyfriend. So no matter what, it's going to be 3 of us now. Like,
well, you're committed to being in a polyamorous relationship moving forward for the remainder of your life, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. I think for me, this is a situation that works. So even on my Jack page, like, again, I've dated niggas for the past 5 and 6 years. But I think on my page, it's real clear. It was real clear. Where are my 2 boyfriends? for me, it takes two people to handle me. You know me. I'm a lot to handle.
Yeah, you know, you
I'm
can be
a
a
lot
little
to
loud.
handle. There's a lot of energy, so it's like I don't want to overwhelm one person. So both of y'all. So I need a second person just to, and if we think, what happens if tomorrow I become a superstar? I gotta go on tour with Beyonce or something. Who wants to sit home with my baby? Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Woo. It's not bad. It's different. It's just different. And even if somebody on the precipice of this or just even exploring this on my own, I'm just kind of like, oh, this is a lot to think about. Like, how's your family? Especially for myself, you know, being such a family man and having small children around.
Right.
What do you say to people who are going to say living quite immoral and y'all just showing them they can have a boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend?
Like they understand, they don't understand, but you know they understand. Like they call all of us uncles. You know, so they call.
Actually, I'm other uncle.
Yeah.
Typically, they'll be like, other uncle. It's name all that, so I'm okay. I know who they talking to.
Yeah, but and Tom was other uncle too for a while.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it started.
That's just how they are. They be like the other uncle. Where's the other
Wow.
uncle? But yeah, so they don't really comprehend. I guess that we all together per se. Like, but they know we all live in the same.
Let me see. Tucker Key asked another question. Would you guys be open to doing reality TV? You're currently doing reality TV, are you, Martel?
Well, it turned me, and then there's tons of footage of me and the boyfriends. The next episode 5. More than just, oh, we have sex. Our relationship is more than just, it's so much more than that. It's 3 grown men who love each other, and we live a full life. Like we're all working adults. We all have jobs. We all have lives and careers, and we're able to bring that together. So it's more than just 3 horny niggas who just like to have sex all the time. Come on, man.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Before we go any further, guys, if you guys want to support the show and the content that we're doing, please make sure you buy a badge. The badges range from anywhere from 99 cents to $1.99 to $5.99. The money goes directly to the influencers. So, number 3, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? They said you had to sleep real quick, so I'll get you had to catch your Z's. You know,
I gotta go to work and
he got work.
Like 30 minutes maybe. I got time to get dressed.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna keep it short and quick because we're not gonna be doing this too much longer. How do you feel about all this? Like, I mean, what were your did you have any reservations before starting to even think about a square relationship?
No.
No reservations. Was it you that initiated the question, or was it Q that initiated the question?
What particular question? Like,
I'm not been in politics. I think I brought up the subject originally.
Right, of polyamorous.
Well, so when the subject was brought up all those years ago, it was more so something that he mentioned, but it was something that we were both into. So it was like, oh, okay, cool. So it wasn't really like, any weird, awkward conversations behind it where anybody felt some kind of way. It was something that he brought up, and I was like, oh yeah, I thought of that before. So.
Okay. Somebody asked, do your single friends ever want to borrow one of your partners?
Yes. Let me tell y'all. And so let me be clear. Can't none of y'all have my niggas. But there's, and I think we all get, there's times when we get messages like, oh, y'all looking for a fourth? Or like, oh, your boyfriend fine. Like, I know, baby, both of them is, but, you know. But I imagine, again, because we're all very attractive men. Just like, again, as grown men, we're in a relationship. I can see someone and be like, oh, that's a handsome man. And we can all agree. So, I mean, I understand my friends be like, oh, your niggas is fine. They are. Let me smack. No. We ain't them kind of friends, baby. Now, again, if somebody pop up like, hey, you need a sugar daddy? We gonna make that sugar daddy work. Now, that could be the friend that you want to talk to my man? Okay, well, baby, do what you gotta do.
I ain't
do what you gotta do.
Sounds like we just got picked out.
Hey, look, we gonna get the money though.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think y'all different schedules kind of contribute to the cohesion of y'all relationship? Y'all kind of not like always together all the time, so you have time to miss each other?
You know what? Let somebody else answer that question first.
You know what? For me, our schedules don't work.
Yeah, I hate our schedules.
I hate them. We all do. It
Really?
don't work.
Because you work overnight.
What you're saying is, so I know for me, I am very big on like personal space, especially like when we first started dating. I'm like, I really just enjoy being by myself. So that is the hard part of being in a polyamorous relationship, wanting alone time. But that is a great part because I can be alone and I know I'm like, okay, babe, just get out my face. Like I don't have to push them off because they're still together. So really, either one of us could be alone, and the other person has another partner they can spend time with. So that is good. If we were all working the same schedule, I would love that because we all just go work our little 9 to 5, work our little 8 hours, and then come back home and we're all together for the rest of that time. That would be preferable. Where we're not together all the time, but we have more time together. Because right now our schedules do kind of are on crack. Because again, he has to leave for work in 20 minutes.
Right.
We just got home, but then we have to get the crack of dawn because he has to work at 9. I work at 10:30. So we all have different schedules. And we try to make it work. But I would actually like us to have, if we all work the same schedule, that would be really beneficial. But it's all a test. We all make it happen. We make it work any way we can.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who is thinking of pursuing a polyamorous relationship? I want y'all to be extremely honest and blunt about it because, like you said, it's not for everybody. But what advice would you give somebody or some couple who's considering that?
That's always my first answer when I tell people it's not for everybody, and everybody thinks I'm being shady when I say that. It's not for everybody. People get jealous and all that. We don't have issues like that, but I just typically know, like, when I say it's not for everybody, some people aren't okay with sharing. Some people think they're okay with sharing, and it's not okay until that time comes. So you have to think about things like that, but then you also have to think about when I say it's not for everybody, it's not, some people can't deal with two people, like all that energy 24/7, because you got to keep in mind, like, if Martel's in a bad mood, he may bring it to me, and then Q could come home in a bad mood. That's two bad moods that you gotta, as the one who's feeling okay, you gotta sit there and mediate through and listen to, a lot of people can't deal with that. Like, there is a lot of extra energy that people don't think that goes into, oh, we just added another person. It's like, no, now I got to navigate how I talk to Martel while having a serious conversation with Q that respects both of the ways that they communicate. People don't think about those things. So It's really not something that is easy for everyone.
That was.
Very good.
Look at you.
No, it's very
it's thinking further than just being like, oh, this could be fun. You have to think about like me and Q, before we did anything like this, it was like a conversation that we had probably for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was about a year. And then after a year, it literally was like, all right, let's start with a conversation with a few people and see how that feels first. And you can't just go from 0 to 100 with this, because you will crash and burn.
Yeah. Just Sucky 2013 asked, is it twice the work when compared to one partner? Yeah, they said that earlier, that it definitely is.
Yeah.
Definitely twice the work when compared to one partner, because like he just explained, it's 2 extra people. It's a whole extra person that you got to deal. You got to deal with yourself and then 2 other people. And so you have to mediate and deal with all of it. Everybody can't. They don't have the bandwidth for it. And that's okay.
The bandwidth.
Yeah.
That's good. So for me, and I can agree. I agree with everything Ty said.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, I think about things like it all balances out eventually. But when I think about like again, now that we are out of quarantine technically, y'all be careful. Get your vaccines if y'all need to. But now that we're out of quarantine, like we can go places and we think, okay, a date. If I decide, okay, I'm gonna take this out, now I gotta pay for 3 niggas instead of just 2. And then the same for them. Every time we go out, like if we're not saying like, okay, well you take this, because we'll do that sometimes. Like, hey, you get the drinks, I'll get the meal, somebody get the tip. But there's days it's like, hey, I'm gonna take y'all out, and I have to know I'm spending for 2 niggas. And same for each of us. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm saying for 2 additional niggas. So you have to keep those things in mind just financially. I know for me, as much as I love them, I said at the beginning, I would prefer to come to a situation where me and my partner found somebody. Because, like you were saying, I know particularly how I can handle another person coming in versus me coming into their situation. There was initially a lot of like, okay, well, I do have to figure out how both of them operate. And it was just it was a lot of me kind of being outside coming in. I don't personally like that because, I am very, I'm very in the forefront. I'm very kind of leadership. So it's hard I can't lead their relationship. They're already doing it. So it was a lot of me kind of mixing into what they have going on and introducing my own taste and style to things. But coming into a relationship, you have to be mindful. They're already in a relationship. So you can't, like you were saying, like, I need to know what your rules are and what y'all already got going on because this isn't my thing, this is y'all's. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, again, I wouldn't trade these niggas for the world, but I also know had the situation been different, I would have, I guess my initial preference would be to bring someone into me versus me going into them. But nonetheless, luckily it worked. So actually, with that perfect example, be more open-minded because who knows?
Yeah.
Shit, that was good right there. I impressed myself.
No, I do. I that's one thing I've learned in the last year. Meeting different people, experiencing different things, going through different things, and my own evolution and transformation into becoming my true self is just opening myself up to all the different possibilities when it comes to love and different kinds of relationships. Some of them work for me and some of them don't. And that's okay. And that's the same thing for every single other person or pair of people or group of people in the world. I encourage each and every person, everybody watching, everybody who will watch this to make the best decision for yourself, ultimately, because it's you that you have to live with. It's you who has to love, and no one has the right to tell you how to love, as long as it's not harming nobody else. Because let me put that out there. Some love ain't love. It's a little nasty. We're not touching on children. Had to clarify about that. But y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Y'all are amazing. I think the thing I like the most y'all situation is it was so methodical. And you took your time with it. That's what I like. I really like that. It wasn't rushed.
I'm sorry,
it wasn't
you cut out
something
this Mikey. You said it was something about what?
Huh? It was so methodical.
Okay.
It was so methodical. It was very well thought out. You took the time to actually get to know each other and to see it work. And I think that's the most important thing that I've heard in this whole process. Every single step, even from when Q and Ty, when they first decided, hey, let's pursue this, they talked about it for a whole year. That's really dope. That's really, really good. And I think as men and as same-gender loving men, I think we can all take the time to stop and smell the flowers and actually go through the process instead of always just trying to go for the goal and get to the result. So thank y'all for being you. Like, I really appreciate this. Thank you for taking this time. I know you got to get to work. And I know Martel like to talk anyway, so he was fine with it. And Q,
listen, I could be here all day.
All day he would. He'd be all up inside here. I'm like, bye, Martel. I got to go. Martel. Bye. But we'll talk again. Hopefully I'll get to meet y'all in person soon. Make sure y'all follow Martel. Martel, where can everybody follow you at?
You can follow me on all social media. What's good? It's your boy Martel Star. Make sure you follow me on all social media at Martel Star. MartelStar.
All right, Q, where can everybody follow you at? Q, where can everybody follow you at?
__ Marco Polo. The O's are zeros. So
okay.
M0
and what about
RC0.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram. __ BLAQUETYYE. So that's Black Tie.
Hey, okay. All right. And of course, you guys, mine is right up there on the board. Follow me here. You follow me on Twitter at HeyMikeFeel. This is actually going to be posted on my YouTube channel as well. So you guys can go there and you can subscribe, and you'll see all my other episodes of 101. 101 very soon will be moving on to Roku TV. So I'll be announcing that date soon enough. So thank you all for everybody tunes in. You know, this is what Mike's been doing. He's just not sitting around. Lots of new projects coming out, and 101 is one of them. It's my way of showing the more beautiful parts of myself. So congratulations, Martel, on your love and relationship and evolution. Wish you nothing but love and light, all three of you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're so happy that you had us on here. We appreciate you just taking the time to talk to us. And again, if anyone has, because I know we do get lots of questions. People sometimes feel comfortable just asking questions. We're super open. So don't slip in the DMs trying to say nothing crazy. Don't come crazy because I'll check you. But I mean, if y'all have questions about this process, or if y'all just want to just know and pick our brains, please by all means do. We're open books. We love to, because again, we want more people to feel comfortable in this. To being themselves and whatever makes them happy. So again, ask away, do what you need to do, live your happiest life.
We're gonna have to go out for some drinks because I do got some questions for y'all. Okay, that I'm not gonna ask.
Listen, we love a drink.
I'm gonna go out for some drinks because I'm not gonna ask about here. But anyway, we'll talk soon. I love y'all. Have an awesome night.
Love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
I'll be safe. How is it?